Welcome everyone joining in, guys. Just be a couple of more minutes. Nice one. Hello, mate. Thanks for joining in on Twitch. I'll be going live in literally a minute or two. Nice one, guys. How are we, guys? Listen, thank you very much for tuning in once again, the live stream. This is our first Wednesday, so I'm very excited. I'm very excited. So in today's episode, we're going to talk about driverless taxis because I don't know if you've caught this morning on DM News. There's literally two has hit the news this week. One is the cyber robo van from Tesla that can carry up to 20 passengers and luggage. And then the other one that's launching is the Lucid Gravity with Uber, and they're a six-seater SUV that's becoming driverless as well. They have come out and said that they're aiming for 20,000 driverless taxis in the next 6 years. That's what Uber's target is with Lucid. And obviously Tesla's just Tesla. You don't know what's going to go on with Tesla. So yeah, the driverless taxis, guys, is going to be mental, and they are going to start by the looks of it. I think the worst thing I'm looking at is America. I think America's going to be hit the hardest. You know, the ride shares, because by the looks of it, everyone is getting the driverless taxis over in America. I think San Francisco has got like 3 companies, driverless taxi companies, currently flying around. So is Las Vegas. It's crazy, crazy. Morning, Raf. How are we, mate? Thanks for tuning in on Twitch. Much appreciated. Hello, mate. Did it work? No, it didn't work this morning, mate. Didn't work. I had to do a few news articles before I come live, mate. There's a few news articles that I had to write for DM News. If you are just starting out in Liverpool, local or Uber, I'd go local, mate. Realistically, I'd go local. The way Uber's going at the moment, mate, Uber's a lot easier. Uber's a lot easier than your local companies. And if you go local, you don't know how easy Uber is. So you don't know what you're missing. Do you know what I mean? But people say once you go Uber, it's very hard to go back to local because Uber's a lot easier than local cabs. Do you know what I mean? But for mileage wise and, you know, per mile and stuff like that, you're well better off with local, mate. Especially if you've got a cap commission. Matty on YouTube, good morning, mate. Just putting out there that they'll never take over. Certain trips they are okay for, but certain ones they can't cope with. Marty, you're 100%, mate. I don't think they're going to be taking over anytime soon. I think they're going to be a gimmick for many years to come. I really do. But I think they're going to take a market of it, you know, part of it. And the fact that now Uber's getting their own vehicles, but the 6 passengers, so technically Uber XLs, and also the Tesla Robovan or whatever it was. I don't know if you've seen it. It looks like something out of iRobot. That can carry up to 20 passengers with luggage. So that's probably coming after your buses and your big minibus jobs. It's crazy, guys. But morning P on Twitch. Good morning, mate. Thanks for tuning in again. But yeah, I think definitely driverless taxis are going to be a massive gimmick for years to come. But to absolutely like replace our jobs, I just don't think it's going to be happening anytime soon. I really don't. People are worried about it and like, oh, I best get out my job now. Driverless taxis are coming. They are coming. But to compete with like your general private hire, your taxis and Uber, you're going to struggle. That's why I think if you want to push into the future, maybe not look at like 4-seater little cabs and stuff like that and go into your big 16-seaters, go into like you say, your wheelchair accessible, your meet and greets at your airports and your events and stuff like that. Because driverless taxis are not going to be able to cater for that type of market, like your wheelchairs, like your meet and greet services and stuff like that. The first thing driverless taxis are going to replace is your normal day-to-day Uber general taxi trips going to and from the barbers and the hairdressers and the shops and stuff like that. So people are worried. I just don't think they're worried for nothing really. Do you know what I mean? Chaos on kick. Hello, mates. Good morning. Raf, much easier for them in the US with the road grid system. Not got lunatics pulling out on roundabouts and pedestrians thinking they're invincible. 100% Raf. I reckon the biggest worry would be an Uber driver in America. Do you know what I mean? The robo taxis are coming out at the moment and they're being tested in Austin. And they've come out at like half price to Uber, by the way, or even less than half price. Robo taxis, the Tesla ones, are undercutting Uber massively, like massively. So you got the robo taxis in Austin, you got the Amazon driverless taxis in Las Vegas, and you've got Waymo, and I think Uber's launching in San Francisco. So if you're an Uber driver in San Fran, I would definitely like be worried. Do you know what I mean? But you are right, Raf. I think America is definitely going to hit first. Like these driverless taxis that you're seeing on London streets now, the Waymos, they still got drivers. They've still got passengers. They're nowhere near being allowed to be complete driverless. They won't be. You know what I mean? My Tesla's not even complete driverless now. And if I'm in the car, they won't even let me have the autopilot on. So I reckon we're miles away, miles and miles and miles away. P on Twitch, how long do you think until they're fully running? Yeah, I reckon miles away, mate. I can't see them coming in on like a mass scale. 15, 20 years. Yeah. Yeah, spare change on YouTube. Hello, mate. Thanks for tuning in again. It'll take years, maybe 10 years before you'd have to start worrying. 100%. Yeah, even longer. Well, look at the article I wrote this morning. Uber's Lucids. So Uber's come out and they brought out a six-seater car, like an SUV with Lucid, right? And you're going to be able to book them directly on the Uber app. That's probably the most scariest part of it, right? But their goal is 20,000 in 6 years. That's their goal. Now, goals sometimes aren't realistic. 20,000 in 6 years. That's not going to affect anyone, is it? Do you know what I mean? Because even if they throw 1,000 out in each state, like it's not going to affect anyone. Anyone, mate. It's going to be years and years away. Especially when I seen that this morning. Our goal is 20,000 in 6 years. Mate, that's going to cover one state probably in America. Miles away, 20 years, 25 years before it's like terrifyingly replacing our jobs. Do you know what I mean? And that's in America, by the way. In the UK, it's probably even longer. But yeah, people say to me all the time, lad, what? I'm going to have to go to the job centre. Why? I seen one of those Waymos in London. I'll be jobless next week. Do you know what I mean? Like panic. I'm like, lads, calm down. That's why I'm doing this live stream today. You know what I mean? I want to get people's thought processes and opinions on driverless taxis. And do you think it's going to be replacing our jobs anytime soon? They've got them in Las Vegas and California. That's correct, mates. That's correct. They got them in Las Vegas and California. But like I said, guys, it's gonna be years, isn't it? It's gotta be. You know what I mean? Uber brought out a rule, and it was what was it? Full electric by 2030. They've already backtracked on that goal. They said they can't do it, and that's manned EV cars. They can't do it. They can't hit it. So they've removed that goal now at 2030. Now they brought out this new goal of driverless taxis, 20,000 of them in 6 years. It's yeah, in 6 years. They might not even hit that. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, I'd say my main worry is for mass production and scale would be the Tesla cabs, but that's in America. I don't even know if they've got any goal to even coming into the UK. Do you know what I mean? But those Tesla cabs are terrifying. You can churn a Tesla cab out one per like minute. Every minute, one just drives out the conveyor belt every minute on those big, massive gigafactory things he's created. That is going to be mass produced. Uber's got a target of 20,000 in 6 years, and he can create them one new car every minute. Once they're all set up, and they're going to be terrifying. They're just going to be coming out like soldiers, mate. With how most Amazon drivers drive, they would be safer driverless. Mate, honest to God, Marty, honest to God, mate, you bang on, lad. Like that robo taxi that come out this morning. I don't know if you've seen it. Yeah, let me just show you the clip there quick. Because like it blew me away when I seen it. Let's have a look. Where is it? So this is on TikTok, yeah. But I've done a video on it I've done a video on it. That's it. That's people getting off at the moment. And if you wait for a sec, you'll see it drive up. So that's the 20 people getting off it. And it literally look at it. It literally looks like that thing that launched the robots in iRobot. Look at that. That is crazy, isn't it? Honestly, I was like, when I seen that this morning, I was like, what? That is like future, that. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not worried about the Jaguar I-Pace that's got a full-on antenna on the roof. I'm worried about that thing. Do you know what I mean? It literally looks out of the future. It looks crazy, man. It looks mental. But if you've ever seen the film I, Robot with Will Smith, that's how they launched the robots in the future. So the fact that he's done that and it looks very similar, do you know what I mean? He must be a fan of the movie. That's what normally Elon Musk does anyway. He's flipping mad. Me on Twitch, most people saying 5 years, my settle firm flapping. Do you know what I mean, mate? Everyone's like, oh, whoa. Marty on Twitch, hello, mate, morning. Thanks for tuning in. And Marty on YouTube looks like the tube on the road. Mate, honestly, it literally looks like the iRobot thing. It's mental. But I love it though. I love anything like technology and futuristic. You know, growing up watching the futuristic films and like oh what's it? Oh look at this film 2020 and it's got like spaceships and that. What's that Fifth Element? Flying taxis and all that. Mate, I used to grow up 80s, 90s films like they predicted the 2020s and all that. We're gonna have like flying robots and butler robots and everything. And yeah, we've barely got a driverless taxi. Do you know what I mean? We've got advanced autopilot in our cars. Do you know what I mean? But when you watch old movies, we had flying jetpacks and flipping skateboards and all sorts, didn't we? It's brilliant. Driverless army incoming. Yes, Martin. You know what, mate? It is incoming. But like, are you worried about your job? Are you going to sell your car now and go and get a job in the Asda because you're worried about the driverless taxi taking your job? I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. Hopefully starting Uber driving soon in Birmingham. Any tips of advice? To be honest, mate, just go out and try your best. Just if you're fully employed or something like that, don't quit your full-time job because it's not as good as everyone makes you believe on social media. It's not as good, mate. You don't earn all this mega money. It's a good minimum wage job with a little bit of flexibility. Do you know what I mean? But it's not for everyone. So don't be leaving your 35 grand a year a job on the heavy goods or something like that to become an Uber driver. Go out and test it first. Try it out. Katie, to have to follow, mate. Appreciated aid. Driverless taxis will take a while. Got them to be full time. Yeah, Kate. That's. I reckon we'll have driverless taxis in a few years, but it will be like America. How long's Waymo been in America now? Waymo was not taking any work off Uber drivers. It's literally a gimmick, a bit of fun. Do you know what I mean? That's literally it, isn't it? It's a bit of fun. And like, oh, do you want to try it? Do you want to try a Waymo this morning? Like it's a tourist attraction in it. That's all it is. And that's been in America for years. It's going to be years away. It's going to be years away. It'd be cool. Don't get me wrong. And I know obviously it's replacing the trade, but it will be cool to experience it and what it's like. Because just having a little taste of the future in it. Need the flexibility because both my kids are autistic and need my support. Fair enough, Andy. Give it a go. Give it a try, mate. Thanks, Strong. Beautiful pictures, Andy. But yeah, just give it a go, mate, and just give it a try. Just don't be like committing too much, mate. I've had people say, "Oh bloody hell, I've been told you're earning 1,500 quid on Uber." I went, "Oh yeah, I've just packed in my heavy goods vehicle job. I was on 40 grand a year." I'm like, "Oh right, okay. How's Uber? Skint. Doing 80 hours a week, skint." I'm like, "Yeah, it doesn't compare, mate, does it? It doesn't compare." Time to follow Hatch on Facebook. Appreciate it. Sideways on Twitch. Hello, mate. Mona Matty, long time YouTube subscriber, first Twitch visit. Glad to be here. Thank you, Side. Much appreciated. I'm just trying to build the Twitch as best as I can. And it's got pretty similarities to YouTube. You can get on your Fire Stick, you can pop it on your telly, but it does help massively that you're joining in on Twitch. Thank you very much. Because obviously, as you're trying to build any social media platform, you need those followers, you need those views, and then the Twitch views that then add up, and more people watch, more people follow, more people see it. That's all, guys. So much appreciated for tuning in on Twitch, and generally, if you're tuning in anyway, I'm glad. But obviously on Twitch, much appreciated. Stuart's on Facebook. What's happening, fella? Hello, Stuart. How are we, mate? Hope you're doing all good. Doing all good. Marty, I'm 42. I don't think I need to worry about driverless taxis until I retire. It will be very gimmicky. Our council has only just proved an Uber office. So where I am, it's absolutely miles off. That's it, Marty. I could not see a fleet of driverless taxis driving through like North Wales down those country lanes and it's one lane. Just imagine it. Do you know what I mean? There's mayhem when there's drivers driving around. Imagine a driverless taxi going down a single lane in a country lane, yeah, and then next minute a tractor is coming the opposite way with a big bale of hay on the forks. Do you reckon the driverless taxi is going to go big tractor, hay? I'll reverse back into a lay-by to let the tractor go. It's just going to stop like that, innit? Like deer in headlights. And do you know what I mean? The tractor's not going to move. No chance the farmer. The tractor's going to move an inch. And it'll just be like, he'll just get out of his tractor and go to work by foot, mate. Honestly, it's just years away. It's crazy, mate. Years and years away. P on Twitch, hello, mate. If you have to depend on Uber full time, you're going to be stressed out. Yeah, P. I think Uber is like a little side hustle these days, like your Uber Eats, like your Amazon, like your delivery parcels and stuff like that. The problem you got, P, with Uber taxis brings a lot of expenses, and we've talked about this before, haven't we? As soon as you stick a plate on the car, it's dead hard to sell. It devalues dead quick. So full-time Uber earnings is obviously the smarter way to do it with your expenses, but it is a difficult job these days, especially in January. Do you know what I mean? So it's an hard one, isn't it? It is an hard one. Uber wants Uber drivers to be like in America, where you're just driving your normal vehicle on your way home from work, grabbing the passengers here and there. That's why it works really well in America, because it is like a Uber Eats for people. You don't need no specialized license, you don't need no specialized plate. You just need a DBS check and you just get picked up and dropped off. So the cheap rates make sense, don't they? Do you know what I mean? If I've got a 15-mile drive home and I can make a little 15 quid on the way home, great stuff. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it's hard. It is hard. Mickey on Facebook. Hello, mate. Thanks for tuning in. In China, all driverless taxis rely on 5G network, apparently. Well, to be honest, Mickey, that's a good shout, that. Because in America, there was a power outage in San Fran, and all the driverless Waymo taxis froze solid. They just stopped where they were because they needed either the internet or the you know electrical currents or something like that to connect to the servers. But there was a power outage and every driverless taxi stopped. Do you know what I mean? Just like straight away, like what? And then there was another driverless taxi going down a tram line, getting chased by a tram. And then there was another driverless taxi got pulled by police for doing an illegal U-turn. And the police was talking to the car's intercom with the staff, going, lads, you can't be doing these illegal U-turns here. Like the police, like, oh, mate, it's just funny, innit? It is funny. I think it'd be a great gimmick. Like if driverless taxis come to Liverpool, I'll book one for a laugh. Do you know what I mean? I would. And then I'll just book a normal taxi then. Do you get me? It's like a gimmick. It's like, oh, let's do a video. Do you know what I mean? Stuart, I'm going to buy a wheelchair and see how that goes. Well, you're just going to roll around in a wheelchair? Or do you mean a wheelchair accessible vehicle? Just a wheelchair, how's that going to help you, Stu? Sideways on Twitch, hello, mate. Revers back to a lay-by. Some roads here have a narrow passing place every quarter of a mile. Some roads you need to fold both wing mirrors in to get down. Driverless cars wouldn't cut it. You hit the nail on the head, mate. You hit the nail on the head. Some country lanes I avoid personally as a driver because it's a nightmare and you got a good chance of getting scraped and stuff like that. It's ridiculous, mate. So yeah, I think it's a valid point, mate. I just can't see it working. That's why it works in America. Raf said before, it works in America. 4 5 lane motorways, straight lines, no problems. You got to come off, drop off, get back on a big motorway. Do you know what I mean? Look at London. I've been to London once, and it was like Spaghetti Junction, mate. It was horrible. Driving in London was just nuts, mate. Driving in country lanes, nuts. I just can't, I just can't comprehend it, guys. I can't see it. How about yourselves, guys? Do you reckon? Tap the follows, guys. Much appreciated. Thank you for the likes and follows. Hit the like button if you can see a like one as well. Sebastian on YouTube, hello, mate. Dacia for Uber. Mate, cheaper the better. I've said this from day one. Cheaper the better. Do you know what I mean? But it's the running costs as well, not just the purchase cost. You could spend 20 grand on a car and run it at 2p a mile on a full electric overnight charge. Or you can get a day share for 8 grand, but you're paying 12p, 13p in running costs for like petrol or diesel. Do you know what I mean? So, do Dacia do full electric? That'd be interesting. I don't know if they do because Dacia's provide really cheap cars. So if they done an electric car, that could be a huge win. Imagine an overnight tariff on a Dacia. Mickey, UK doesn't have constant 5G everywhere. Mate, I can barely get 3G in my house. Signal's rubbish. I went to Canny Farm the other day in Liverpool and I just couldn't get signal. Do you know what I mean? And you've like I said, they expect driverless cars. It's mental. We're just so far away from it. It's crazy. When I order a driverless taxi, 100% order a driverless taxi while you're in a wheelchair, Stu, and let's see what happens. Uber motorbike would work better. Probably, mate. Hey, with the rates though, you know what I mean? A little scooter like that, little moped, little one passenger jump on the back of a moped. Like I said, mate, it's just mental, innit? I think it's a good choice, honestly, for these days. With the Dacias, yes, Sebastian. So any cheap car is great for Uber, but you need to concentrate on cheap running costs. Like, Sebastian, how much fuel are you putting in your Dacia and what Dacia have you got, mate? Because it'd be interesting to see. Because the Dacia might be cheap to buy, cheap to repair and stuff like that, but you could be paying a lot of money in fuel. And then you might be better off getting an EV instead, do you know what I mean? If you can home charge. Robert's on YouTube. Hello, matey. How are we? How's it going, guys? How's it going? Thinking of buying a Hyundai Ioniq hybrid. What do you think? Andy, are they the neck breakers, mate? Because if it's a neck breaker, lad, they're good for the driver, but I've broke my neck about 4 times getting in the back of them. The Hyundai Ioniqs. But they're great for mile per gallon and stuff like that. Have a look at like your Toyota Corolla, your Kia Niro, your Prius, if you really want a Prius. Yeah, I think he drives then he drives is it the Duster? Like the 4x4 in it. I think the 4x4 it is. Because you got the Logan, which is the estate, or the 4x4. I think he drives the 4x4. When do you think driverless taxis will come in the UK? I reckon this year, but as a gimmick, or like testing for like 2, 3 years. I can't see it replacing our jobs for 10, 15, 20 years tops, mate, probably. I really don't. What car do you recommend for an Uber driver? The cheapest. Either electric if you can home charge, and if not electric, a really cheap running car, as best as you can. Cheaper the better. Don't go executive and get a 5 Series Beamer for Uber. Don't. Not worth the running cost, matey. Don't do it. Raf on Twitch. Uber 2026 can't work now unless you're in an EV with cheap home charging or a very good hybrid. That's it, Raf. And if you're doing Uber in a flipping V class or a big diesel minibus, you need your head wobbling. Really, you need your head feeling, mate. Because it's just mental. Also, Sebastian, you drive the Logan 1.5 diesel, 7 grand for the 20 plate. Nice. How much fuel are you putting in that, Sebastian, each month? I'm currently driving a Mercedes C-Class 2017, but thinking of a Skoda Enyaq. Mickey, Raf on Twitch has got a Skoda Enyaq and he loves it. He's getting literally pennies per mile. Home charge, love it. Mickey, if you can charge your own, mate, really consider going electric there. The only way you can continue on Uber and the taxis with the rates. Mile per gallon's not much better in the Ioniq 1.5 diesel Mondeo. I'm using similar amounts. Oh, nice. Time to subscribe, Brendan. Much appreciated, mate. 20 max. 20 max 30 per day on a full shift. How many days a week do you work, Max? Sebastian, how many days a week do you work, mate? So if you're saying 20 to maximum 30 a day, let's call it 25 a day. Yeah? Be fair. Let's call it 25. How many days a week do you work, Sebastian? Is working a base better for working Uber? Yeah, mate. I think the bases are normally quieter. There's less work than Uber, but when your wheels are moving, they're on a better rate, and that's what is most important these days. Do you know what I mean? Correct. Sebastian, how many days a week do you work, mate? 5 days usually, so sometimes six. So 5 days is 125 quid a week to 150 quid a week, right? So that's 500 to 600 pound a month in diesel. £500 to £600 a month in diesel. Yeah. Raf, how much electric charge do you cost you? Working 5 days a week, mate. I got orders for a taxi. The small, I'm not the orders. Is Alpha a good base? Any base, mate, that's got a cap commission is worthwhile. Alpha, Delta, Vizu, all them. RAF, £1 a day. Okay, let's do the math then. So Sebastian in his Dacia, in his 6-year-old Dacia, is doing 500 to 600 quid a month in diesel, working 5 days a week. RAF in his brand new Skoda Enyaq, he's costing him 20 quid a month to run his brand new Enyaq. And that's the difference, guys. So 20 quid a month, that means RAF has got a spare 480 to £580 per month to get financed up on a really nice electric car that has little maintenance, that probably has warranty. And that's what we were talking about the other day, weren't we, about electric cars. If you can home charge and you work for Uber, you're better off an electric these days. Because even Sebastian's saying, yes, yes, my my Dacia is only 7 grand. It was a 20 plate. But that Dacia is costing him 600 quid a month in diesel. 10,000, every 10,000 miles servicing. Do you know what I mean? DPF, gearbox, chains, belts, plugs. Do you know what I mean? Your list could go on. Brakes, discs, like all sorts. EV car with warranty. Well, RAF, his is all covered under warranty because he's settled buying one brand new. So RAF's paying £1 a day. Sebastian's paying 20 to 30 a day. And myself personally as well, even if both vehicles cost the same each month, because RAF's saving on his running costs, but obviously the payments are more. I'd rather be in a Skoda Enyaq than a Dacia Logan. Anyone else agree? What would you rather be in? A Dacia Logan or a brand new Skoda Enyaq? Honest to God, Sebastian, just look into it, mate. Seriously. Sideways on Twitch, hello, mate. How much are you EV lads roughly paying charge up away from home? Great question. So when you're rapid charging, mate, it is a lot more expensive. It's on the same ballpark as like your hybrids and your diesels. Do you know what I mean? But how long or how often do you travel over 300 miles in a day without stopping? You know what I mean? 400 miles in a day. These electric cars now, Raf does 350 mile in his Enyaq. Raf has probably not used a rapid charger once since he's got it. So the rapid charge is great for emergencies and like, do you know when you're in your car sideways, yeah, and you're out working, you got your local Costco or your cheap supermarket fuel, haven't you, near your house, and you rely on that full tank before my shift or whatever because you know it's the cheapest around. Do you know how it feels when you got to stop off at a motorway services and you're paying 15p more per litre and you hate using them and you put a little tenner in just to get you home to your favourite petrol station? That's what the rapid charges are like with EV cars. If you home charge, rapid charging is literally your desperation, your last minute. I'll use a rapid charger and I'll literally put enough in just to get me home to finish my shift. Do you know what I mean? So like people look at rapid charging like, oh, the cost, it's so expensive. You very rarely use them. My wife's got a Model 3. She's had it now for 8, 9 months. And she's rapid charged once when the charger failed overnight and she had to nip to the rapid charger before work. Because I think the lecky tipped or something like that. Once she's rapid charged in 8 months. Outside of that 8 months, 2p a mile she's running at. Do you know what I mean? And if you get a Tesla, you get the cheap overnight tariff at like 30p, 30, 40p a kilowatt as well. Honestly, mental. Gabella on Kick. Hello, thanks for tuning in on Kick. Much appreciated. I have a Skoda Enyaq from Autocar, rent to buy, brand new, 284 quid, including everything. After 5 years, owned. Um, it's mine. Around 30 to 50 pound per week in electricity, and it's because it's new car and large passengers, like it puts the tips in. Full time driver, worth it. Part time, not worth it. Why are you paying 50 to 30 to 50 pound a week in electricity? Are you rapid charging then, I'm guessing? Do you know what I mean? Shane on Facebook, hello mate. I am starting a bus driver shortly. Council are funding more new drivers. There are no work as an out of town. Ubers are swamping us the area. Shame, I love my job. Shane, a load of Uber drivers I know, they're getting off the trade because of the self-employment thing. Tax makes digital. And obviously everyone's getting grassed on. So there's loads of Uber drivers now going on the heavy goods, driving instructor, buses, back into employments, just doing a normal employed job. Loads of people are doing a Shane. All the best to you, fella. Honestly, all the best to you. Sebastian, what do you think about hybrid? Same as your Dacia, mate. You just save a bit extra fuel. Enyaq all day. Yeah, man. Belters. Raf, what model charger have you got? Well, my charger that I've got is a Hypervolt. They're pretty good. Raf, rapid charging deals through Uber. BP Pulse, 49p per kilowatt. 45p per kilowatt. Ionity, £10 a monthly membership of 43p per kilowatt. Also, Raf, I think if you pay the 10 quid a month for Tesla, you can also charge your Teslas at the free 30 to 40p a kilowatt as well. So if you can get what's 40p a kilowatt, translation into miles, 4 miles per kilowatt, would you say? So it's 10p a mile in it. If you're rapid charging a 40p a kilowatt, that's 10p a mile in it. That's on par with your hybrids. Really, your really good hybrids. So that's a great backup if your home charger fails or you don't need to, you know what I mean? Depends on time at Tesla's. Early morning charging can be like 26p per kilowatt. Really, Yankee? Wow. That's crazy, isn't it? What electric do you recommend for Uber X, Model 3, Hyundai Ioniq 5, Skoda Enyaq, Tesla Enyaq? Mickey, it's an opinion, mate. I love the Teslas just because I've had a few of them now. And I think the Tesla supercharger network is hard to beat. Do you know what I mean? So if Raf in his Enyaq is going to Heathrow, he'll now kind of manually have to plan and look at apps and Google it and predict his stops a bit more. And now I know they have a built-in system now, but I don't know if it's as good as Tesla's. When I've been to Heathrow on my Tesla, I literally go Heathrow and it tells me where to stop and how many available charges there are. So I'm just no, I've never had to worry or stress at charging. I'll just drive in, plug in, drive out. The only time I've had problem rapid charging is when it was non-Teslas. And I had to look and find out if there was one available. I'd pull up, it would be broke. Carnage. Do you know what I mean? That's because there was no Tesla superchargers near me at the time. Raf, you know on the Skoda Enyaqs, mate, when you use the in-car navigation, does it pre-plot your stops at charges? And also, does it tell you how many charges are available at each stop? That'd be interesting to know, Raf. Thanks, mate. But sometimes have to charge a little, £10 outside. Oh, okay, okay, I get you. I get you. So the 30 to 50 quid lecky is because you're mixing rapid charging with your home charging. Okay, I get you. That makes more sense, mate. I basically think make tax digital is a good thing for the trade. It'll filter out all the rogues and people taking the mickey. Marty, yeah, it will get rid of all the people and the blaggers and everything else. Do you know what I mean? But also the people who are still doing it, it's still a bit more hassle You got to produce all the receipts, your quarterly, monthly updates. It's a bit more hassle as well, isn't it, really? That we just didn't need as self-employed. RAF, so it does pre-plot your stops, but it doesn't tell you how many available. So just to clarify, Raf, you can sat nav to London and I'll tell you to stop in Birmingham. But when you get to Birmingham, there might be no charges available or they might be broke. That's my issue. Tesla is just seamless. And that's why for the taxis, and you might need to rely on the rapid charges periodically on your big jobs, once or twice a week, then that's where the Tesla supercharger network shines. It really does. I had to rapid charge quite a lot in my Model S because I only had the 200-mile, 180-mile range. So if I was going to Heathrow, I had to stop halfway, pick up, stop, you know what I mean? Stop little charges, little 15-minute stops. So the supercharger network was like a game changer, honestly. So if you're out on the taxis, full-time Uber, full-time taxis, I'd recommend the Model 3. And if you want a bit bigger, I'd go for the Model Y. Or go for like a Hyundai Ioniq 5 or something like that, where the miles won't be a problem. You know, like your 350, 400 miles, your Skoda Enyaqs, where you very rarely need to use rapid charger, so you won't be as stressed. Do you know what I mean? How much you spend for charging a supercharge? Like I said, Sebastian, it works out around 10 to 20 pence per mile, depending on the supercharger. It's very expensive. Home charging is the way forward. Hey, yo, on Twitch, hello, mate. Hope you're good, brother. Just let you know you got like a 4 or 5 second delay on Twitch. Yeah, it's standard, mate. All the different social medias have different delays. I try and read the comments, mate, halfway up the screen. So if there's any delays, by the time I get to your question, it's not too bad. Do you know what I mean? I love cherry picking my jobs, getting sick of below £1 a mile jobs, avoid 20 jobs this morning. That's it, Don. But the problem is, mate, that's the way Uber is going forward, mate. If you cherry pick too much, the only person that's going to lose out is you earning money. Do you know what I mean? So sometimes, mate, if you're not happy with Uber's rates, go and look at something else, mate. Try and get better income. If you're happy with Uber's rates or happy to work Uber, just go online and if the job is within a mile of you, accept the job and just get out working. And the money adds up. They try and balance you around 20 quid an hour. Do you know what I mean? But if you're sat there just cherry picking, and there's an hour gone by and you've earned nothing, what's the point of working Uber? Seriously. Either be happy with Uber and crack on with Uber, or go and find something else. I don't get why these people have got like fascinations with like Uber's the only option out there to make money. Do you know what I mean? Go out and work Uber and be happy working Uber and make yourself feel happy and enjoy your job. And if you're not enjoying your job or enjoying Uber, enjoying the rates, get out of it, lad. Get out of it and go do something else. Make yourself happy. I haven't worked Uber since September last year because I was feeling like Don. I'd go on my driveway and go, what are these rates here? And I'll go back in the house. Done it like 2, 3 times on the bounce. Half an hour in the car, an hour in the car. What are these rates here? Went back in the house. Honestly, just not worth it, guys. Andrew Neary, make my accountants again. I'm going to say this every single time you pop in, Andy. When are you coming on the stream next? Does everyone want to see Andy come on my stream, my accountant, and we can talk about Make Tax Digital so everyone's aware what they need to do? How about it, guys? Let's go. Let's hound them in the comments. Andy, Andy, Andy. So we just put a comment in anyway. Just remember, as part of Make Tax Digital, that HMRC can view your bank statements, private and business, and all the family. Yeah, so Make Tax Digital, they can see everything. They're using AI to track everything. They can look at your social media, everything, everything. You've got to go. You got to go 100% in. Sorry, guys, 2 seconds. Another reason to drive a 300 brake horsepower with pennies are very welcome. Or buy an autonomous vehicle and settle it to Uber. To be honest with you, the cybercabs come in. I've heard you can buy your own cybercab, use it to drive you around, and then send it out working. once you're at work or whatever. But that'd be amazing. I'd buy a cybercab just for that. Listen, I'm at work now. Go and work for 3 hours. Make sure you're back for 3 o'clock to take me to the gym. And the cybercab's like, yes, boss. I'd love that, you know. When Andrew says all the family regarding bank statements, how far does that stretch? Great question, mate. Raf, can you only work at Uber with Otto? Great question, P. You got to cherry pick with Uber because they'll send you from St. Helens, Raynell, Whiston, Liverpool City Centre for all £7 these days. John, 100% mate, you've got to cherry pick, lad. But what I mean is, if there's any job that's within a mile of you, just do the job and crack on. Do you know what I mean? I understand ignore all the 5, 6, 7, 8 mile jobs away from you that always come in. But any job that's within a mile of you, mile and a half, just accept it and crack on, lad. Do you know what I mean? Or gibber. That's my opinion, anyway. He wants Andy to come on the stream. What can you say about private insurance? Is it hard to insure or is it expensive than others? Private hire insurance for electrics? Expensive, mate. Depends on your personal situation, anyway. Raf, I want to see Andy on just to prove he's actually a human being. Michael on YouTube, get him on Friday, Matty. I'd love him to get him on. I'd love to get him on. I'd love to. Wolves private hire are best. if you say so, mate. Andy, man, if they have ground to go back, then they can. So get your house in order now and don't give them the excuse. I missed that, man. What's that? Oh, yeah. Sorry, I missed that comment. So Marty's asked me, accountants, when I join Make Tax Digital in April, can they view your bank from before this time or only when you join Make Tax Digital? So Marty, you trying to say that you're kind of blagging a little bit up until April? Well, Andy said if they have grounds to go back, they can. So get your ducks in order, kid. They can look into everything. We were talking about this on the last stream, weren't we? Imagine if you've been declaring 12 grand profit for the last 8 years on the cabs. And then this year comes in and you're like, oh crap, 40 grand profit, 30 grand profit. It's going to look up suspicious, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Oh, it's so bad. It is so bad. I don't agree with how it's gone. One of the lads messaged me about, lad, am I going to have to register as self-employment? Been on the cabs for 8 years. So he hasn't paid any tax or nothing. And now he's going to register for self-employment this year. Honestly, the trade is mad, innit? Makes me laugh. Raf, when you first take the car from Otto, you have to prove a number of Uber or Bolt jobs and your star rating. After that, please yourself, I work for Uber and Vizu. So you can only get a car from Otto if you work Uber or Bolt. Won't they accept you for Otto if you're working for a different company, Raf? Or you're not even working for Uber? That's an interesting question. I didn't know that. Sporty leaving Uber, mate, are you? Don't worry, driverless taxi is going to take a lot longer than you think. 100%. Time for all likes and follows. Much appreciated, guys. Everyone's saying, get me accountants on. I'm trying, mate. I'm trying. Multi-job van long distance. Is that what you're doing, Sporty? Fair play to you, mate. Fair play to you. That's what I mean, mate. If you're not happy with Uber, just go and look elsewhere and go and get something sorted in it, mate. That's your best bet. Don't let it worry you, because people like messing me. I hate Uber. It's awful what they're doing. We need to do something to change it. Why? Just leg it and do something else. Morning, mate. How are we? Fluffy, you youngster. Don't know about Fluffy youngster, mate. Get all that grey there, look. Silver fox these days, lad. 250 quid a day. Mental. Good done. Good money, that, mate. Good money. How's your mate renewed his license, Matty? If it's past 5 years, you had to prove yourself employed to renew. It hasn't been 5 years, Andy, has it? It's only been implemented with certain councils. So if he's got his badge for his 3 years or 5 years, depending who he is, he might have avoided it. Because that didn't come in 5 years ago, did it? We got to prove your UTR number and all that, your self-employment. That only come in about 2, 3 years ago, didn't it? Depending on the council. And do all councils do it, Andy, as well? That's a question as well you got to ask. I know Liverpool does, but do all councils require your proof of self-employment to get the badge? It's after likes and follows, guys. Appreciated. Do you know what I mean? BM, I think in the robot taxi will replace taxi in the long run, but for the short term, no. Yeah, BM, we're talking 20 years, mate. I reckon 30 years before we got our jobs under like scrutiny. I can't see it. It's going to be so long. Really is, isn't it? And even then, it's going to replace 5%, 10%. Oh, so it's years before you wake up in the morning and the streets are flooded with driverless taxis. I only do mornings and work another job at night. I was planning to do Uber full time, but having second thoughts. Mickey, be very careful, mate. Really be very careful, mate. Because if you work mornings on Uber, that's the best time to work. Do you know what I mean? But when you lose your night job and you go full time Uber and you're dragging through those dead hours and all that, lad, it's rough. It's rough. Honestly, mate. If it's working for you now, Mickey, just stick to what you're doing, lad. I don't think they check your UTR number at the moment. I think it's just a paper ticking thing. So you saying when you renew your badge, Raf, you could throw in a fake number and he still accept your badge? You know what I mean? There's so many people blagging it still. I'm pretty sure there'll be a little workaround for it. Blue, mate, but not a big footy fan. But like born a blue. Born a blue. It's after likes and follows, guys. Appreciated. Oh, Andy, if you started in November 2025, your first account will be due April 2026. So when do you advise me to get an accountant, mate? Thanks. JWLF, go to Andy, mate. But your accounts aren't due till April, and then it's only going to be submitted January next year. Do you know what I mean? So you have got a bit of time, mate. So don't be stressing. Marty, no, mate. My top line is 58k profit, 29,500. Was just curious. 10k in diesel, 6k local base. In case you wondered about high expenses, no good electric wheelchair vehicles. Yeah, yeah. So you're a Wi-Fi, yeah. Toasted on Twitch. Hello, matey. Wouldn't recommend Uber part time then. I have a full time office job. I'm looking to go into something else in future. Wanted to dip my toe in and see if it's not for me. No. So, is your office job a good paying job, Toasted? I don't need to know your figures, mate. Don't worry about that. But is it a good paying job? You enjoy, like, you know what I mean? So, with Uber, especially part time, you're better off with your Uber Eats and your Just Eat and your Amazon Flex and your parcels, mate, to work around a full time job. Uber taxis just take so much expenses to get on the road and stuff. But then if you quit your office job, mate, and go into full time Uber, you'd be doing 50, 60 hours a week. No full time Uber driver can replace a full time wage at 30 hours, 35 hours. It's very, very difficult. Most of your Uber profit is in the last 30 hours of your 50, 60 hour week. Do you know what I mean? So just say your first 25 hours of Uber is covering all your expenses for the week, your fuel, your insurance, your car, your maintenance, your tyres, your repairs, your breakdowns. And then your last 25 hours, as an example, is where you're making all your profit, mate. So if you're doing like a 38-hour week and you're banking this amount of money, it'll be very hard to replicate that in a 30-hour week on Uber after your expenses, if you get me. So it just depends on your wages and how you're doing, mate. It's not a UTR number. It's a tax 9-digit code they check. Two different things. So they do check that, Marty, yeah? When did that get implemented, mate? Because that'd be interesting, because that's a good point, that. Toasted. Make sure you follow me, lads, on Twitch. Much appreciated. But all jokes aside, Toasted, you can test it out and stuff like that. But if you want a little side hustle or something like that, go out of a weekend and stuff. Do like your Uber Eats or your it's have to follow Toasted, mate. Do like your Uber Eats or your parcels, stuff like that. If you got kids, you can take them with you. It's a bit more fun. Do you know what I mean? But the taxi, as soon as you plate your vehicle, you lose about 40% of value straight away. So if you got a nice car and you're going to devalue it massively for doing a little bit of side income. And also to get your badge and everything else is still expensive and takes time. Do you know what I mean? I just don't recommend it, matey. I had two clients in yesterday. Just to clarify, guys, Andy is an accountant. He's doing nothing dirty. Do you know what I mean? Because that sounded dirty, Andy. But Andy had two clients in yesterday. Dirty bugger. Uber drivers both earning over 80k in Liverpool with profits of £45. I'm trying, Andy, I'm trying to say that you're a great accountant, Andy. I've been bigging you up for all these years, mate, and said you're a great accountant. But how have they profited 45 quid out of 80 grand, lad? Is your math not mathing, lad? Andy, I know it's a typo. What was it meant to be, please, mate? To have the likes and follows. 45k. Right, I'm on it, I'm on it. But that's my right. I've said this from day one, right? And also Andy is literally um we've talked about this in the past. So how much does an Uber driver profit after their expenses? And I've said for years it's 40 to 50%. That is fact. So if you're doing a grand a month on Uber, you're banking 500 before the tax man. That's like a more or less accurate guess. Andy, my accountant, has had two clients in this week, both earning over 80 grand in Liverpool top line. Yeah. And he each profited around 45 grand profit off 80 grand turnover. But both work 7 days a week. Realistically, to get that money, they're probably hitting 80 hours a week. They're doing seven, 10 to 12 hour days, 100%. They're living in the car. To make the money, fair play to them. But 45 grand profit predicted 70 hours a week. Look at it as that as you please. But I've talked about profit on Uber and taxis for years, mate. Now the profit does differ depending on the person. The profit does differ depending on the person. But realistically, you're talking about 40, 50% of your profit. Is Andy Rachel Reeves? No, he's prettier. He's prettier than Rachel. Mickey, before I started Uber in November 2025, I applied for Amazon Flex and waited over 2 months for work, but none was available. The good thing with Amazon Flex, mate, is they do that, so there's not too many drivers fighting for work, which I think is pretty good, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? I'm good, but not that good. Andy, have you got an Instagram, lad? Or an OnlyFans? The 45 grand will be after Andy has sprinkled some accountant magic Dutch dust. Now, Raf, do you know what, mate? He is legit as anything. Um, been with me for years, mate, and he's literally legit as anything. But with accountants, they know exactly what you can and cannot declare, and they'll declare stuff legally that you didn't even know you could declare. Do you know what I mean? That's why I do like them. I do like accountants for that reason. They're worth the money. They save you a fortune. Do you know what I mean? But 80 grand profit income, 45 grand profit is crazy, isn't it? That is crazy. To have the likes of follow Sporty, can you help with what, mate? I keep missing the TikTok comments. Sorry, guys. If you come onto Twitch or YouTube, I'll see your comments there. Marty, I know it's a big ask, but questions we would want to ask Andy wouldn't fit in the character limit, and a live Zoom would be fantastic. Marty, he won't listen to me, lad. He won't listen to me, honestly. But I'm telling you right now, I can flip the screen as easy as that. And Andy will, his little pretty face will be at the bottom. If you didn't want to show his face, you could literally have the camera pointing at the wall just so we can hear your voice. I've been at him for about 6 months, mate. But the end of when you submit your tax in January is nearly over. So hopefully in February he'll jump in. Because you are right. I would literally sit here with Andy and he'll just spiel off all the info that we need. Do you know what I mean? And then any comments you got for Andy, you can fire them away to him. Do you know what I mean? How much would you expect to pay an accountant? Depends, Mickey. It does depend. I'm not too sure, about 200-300 quid, something like that, I think, per year. But it depends on like how many accounts you've got, what type of work's involved, and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? So if you need an accountant, Mickey, Andrew is great, but I'm not recommending him no more until he comes on my live stream. And Andy's put, if I'm in a live feed, how does he ask the question if it doesn't fit on here? Andy, if you come on the live stream, you'll be able to have the comments open on another device, right? You can have the camera on your phone. So after you have the stream open on your laptop or whatever, camera on your phone, and we can literally talk. Me and you will be having a conversation, and you can read the comments and talk. Do you know what I mean? Toasted, I'm mortgage free with no kids, so don't need to earn a top wedge. That's it. Toasted, listen, mate. All jokes aside, mate. If you got a bit of dough behind you, and you like you said, you don't need to earn a fortune, and you can happily ticking over work when you want. You want that flexibility. Give it a go, Toasted. Give it a go, mate. You might love it. My recommendation, mate, if you got a house and you got a home charger, get a home charger, mate, and get electric. With Uber, the rates are really low. With an electric vehicle, your running costs are really low. So it's a win-win, mate. And just give it a go. You know what I mean? Just don't commit to like a big finance for a car or something, or quit your job or anything like that before you give it a go. Because you might give it a month, mate, and not like it. Dealing with the public, breathing down the back of your neck or next year is heavy. Do you know what I mean? I took someone, it was a half an hour journey, and I took someone up to Southport. Can't remember when I picked them up. And he got in the car like, all right, mate. And he's got in the car and he's like, what flavour pizza do you like? And I was like, mate. He's like, what flavour pizza do you like? First words come out of his mouth. And I'm like, don't know, mate, anything with meat on, why? And he sat in the front and it was empty in the back. And he went, I love pepperoni pizza. Like that. I'm like, wow, that's great news, that. So where you been up to? He went, oh, I'm just on day release at the moment from the hospital. Okay, thanks, mate. And then he just sat there in the passenger seat, humming and singing to himself, even though the radio was on, for half an hour. One of the most uncomfortable rides I've ever had. Do you know what? Do you know what I mean? But just that type of stuff, people just can't cope with it or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Or you pick up on a night and like four lads jump in your car and you've got all like, in the winter and you got all scarfed up and stuff like that. And you don't say a word to you. And you just got to drop them off to wherever they're going. And you just don't say a word. And instead, like more, but like it's quite scary, innit? You know what I mean? And it's late at night, it's dark, and you pick them up in the middle of a street, there's four of them, and it's all like mashed up or ballied up or whatever, and you just sat in the car, not saying a word, and you drop them off. Nothing happens, you know what I mean? But it's still like a bit nerve wracking, innit? You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Oh, but yeah. I could tell you some stories, mate. I was in the minibuses a while back, and I was footy fans. Oh my god, footy fans with the accent. Do you know what I mean? So obviously, I'm from Knowsley, but my accent's like Liverpool, yeah. So working the footy, six footy fans get in the minibus, and they're like Anfield, I'm like, oh yeah, not a problem, mate, not a problem. And then just start like having a go, yeah, over footy. And like, mate, I haven't got a clue about footy, don't even know who's playing. Do you know what I mean? And they were like Geordies, I think they were, Newcastle. And he started being proper horrible with me, taking the mick and everything else. So I got them halfway to Anfield. I went, lads, so listen, I will pull up. I'll pull up and you can get out my car, mate. I'm not dealing this for another half an hour with the traffic and that. And he just carried on and just pulled up. And I went, get out the car, lad. And he one of the lads went, you think you're gonna get me to leave your car? And I wound the window down, and there was about 1,000 Liverpool fans walking down the street. I went, hey lads, hey, and I went, are you sure you don't want to get out the car? And they all just scurried out the car like that. Do you know what I mean? Because I was literally going to tell all the copites that, hey, there's loads of Geordie fans in the back of my car slagging Liverpool off. And they would have got out of my car. But just scenarios like that, mate, it happens. It does happen. And yeah, and that's just a few things you got to be prepared with. Do you know what I mean? I had someone message me the other day and he was working nights. Let's see if I got the picture. He was working nights and the fella he just got a message out the blue and went with that. And he replied, obviously, with the exclamation mark. 27th of January at 20 to 2 in the morning. And that's what he got sent. Stuff you got to deal with, mate. Mental. Absolutely mental, honestly. Now, obviously, with the locals and like back in the day before Uber, it was a lot more spicy. Do you know what I mean? Because you just pick up people up off the street. So there's no like names and details and stuff like that. Where with Uber, if something happens, you can then put a report in. You've got the driver's passenger details, etc. But they're getting crafty now with Uber these days. These days, mate, they'll do something bad in your cab. You'll put a complaint into Uber about the passenger, and then when you go back to the passenger goes, "Oh no, I booked that for me mate Barry. Don't know his name. Don't know where he lives, but that way me in that car, mate. I booked it for me mate." And then Uber goes back to the driver and goes, "Oh, sorry, we can't do nothing. It wasn't the passenger. Can you prove it was the passenger?" Do you know what I mean? Honestly, they're getting crafty now. Like, yeah, you need thick skin, mate, doing the job. Doing the job. I say, doing this job, mate, you don't have an opinion on football, sports, politics, or religion. You don't have an opinion on it. A taxi driver got really load of abuse and he refused to pay him his fare and stuff out in the country down south of the UK. I done an article on DM News, and because he had the Palestine flag as an air freshener, or like Free Palestine or whatever, air freshener, that was it. And that really riled up the customers. They were drunk, refused to pay him, really got like that aggressive with him and stuff like that because of the flag. You do not have an opinion with religion, sports, and anything. People get in the car, you just bought, mate. Nah, I'm not a big fan of footy, mate. What's your point on Keir Starmer about those boats, lad? Do you want to stop those boats? What boats, lad? I don't really watch the news, mate. Easy as that. Don't have an opinion. Taxi drivers should never have an opinion doing this job, even if you do. I know lads, and they're fighting and having maids all the time because they're wearing Everton tops while working the Anfield and stuff. It's just, do you know what I mean? Or like the dead opinionated on, like, they'll get in the car and they'll be like, so what's your opinion on Keir Starmer? Do you know what I mean? And stuff like that. And they always have fights, always have arguments, they always get down bad stars on the socials and everything. It's just stuff you got to deal with. So, Toasted, just be prepared, mate. If you're going to come on the cabs, just be prepared. Stuff like that, and just use your common sense. Do you know what I mean? I've had people doing drug runs, and everything in my car and stuff. You can't prove it. You can't stop. Stop it. Do you know what I mean? But you just got to be that sound on them, stuff, and just play the game. Got to play the game. Michael, I had a fella trying to get out my car the other night to fight me. Why? What happened, Michael? Scott on YouTube. Do you get many smelly passengers on Uber? So no. Sorry, yes, but you never used to. So locals, right? Back rewind before COVID, right? Locals, you used to get everything. Uber, you used to just get tourists and students. That's all you used to get. Tourists and students. Uber was amazing back in the day for that, right? Rewind 2026, everyone's using Uber now. You got your grannies using Uber. Do you know what I mean? Going to shops. So Uber's becoming a real close to local companies. Soon as the smackheads get phone credit, mate, and you can get the Uber app, they're going to be the same clientele. You're going to have your local company passengers and your Uber passengers. Uber's become like that now. You're getting very close to it. Do you know what I mean? So people say, "Oh, the passengers are better on Uber." They are, or they were, but now it's getting a little bit more closer now. Do you know what I mean? But the smelly passengers, I don't mind a smelly passenger. I just don't like ones that you can taste. Now, all jokes aside, you're on it. I'm not on about the smell. Someone gets in the car, oh, you just don't smell, and it's all right. But if you get in the car and you go, oh, it's bad smell, and you don't breathe through your nose no more, and you go, do you know what I mean? And you can taste the bills on them. You can taste like the sweat between the flaps. Horrendous, mate. Horrendous. So yeah, the smells isn't a bad thing. It's the it's the taste, innit? You must be able to relate to me when you say you can taste your passengers in that sense. It's gone really disgusting. I do apologise, but yeah, you when you taste your passengers, guys, it's flipping. It's really bad. It stinks. It is bad. Are you Waterloo based? So Andy's based in Crosby, Waterloo way, yeah. Marty, as well as it's cash as well, a lot on local. Yeah, but I've never minded cash. Do you know what I mean? Cash never really bothered me, mate. Good morning, commuter on YouTube. How are we, mate? Bit late to the stream today, aren't you? You know me, bang on 10. Yeah, yeah. Welcome, welcome. You can have an opinion. You need to gauge the audience beforehand, though. I would stay away from religion, but anything else, I'm happy to talk about. Yeah, Marty, 100%, mate. Gauge it when you get in. Do you know what I mean? But it just depends on the scenario. If they're bevied and you've got a flipping footy scarf on, do you know what I mean? And you lean into you and go, who do you support, lad? You're not going to tell them, are you? Do you know what I mean? I had a woman in COVID and I was working through COVID and she got in. I was working for Delta at the time and she had a mask on, yeah? And then she had a hat on and then sellotaped around the hat was one of those plastic binders that you put in a folder. You know what you're on about? He had a couple of them sellotaped around the head. So they looked like they were managing a beehive. Seriously, managing a beehive, yeah? So they got in the car and he leaned in towards me like that, I'm going, how are you not dead? And I'm, what do you mean, love? She's like, COVID. I heard if anyone coughs, you're dead. I'm like, no, it's not as extreme as that. It's bad, but it's not as extreme as that, love. Do you know what I mean? I went, and it was like really, and I was like, oh yeah. And then everything she talked about COVID, I just agreed with her. Do you know what I mean? They're saying it's the 5G towers. I'm like, oh mate, those 5G towers. Watch out for those flipping radio waves, you know what I mean? Honestly. And you just go along with them, and in the end, we're both driving down as I'm dropping it off, spotting radio towers on the way to dropping it off. There's another radio tower. Can shield that radiation. Honestly, mate, all the way home. All the way home. So yeah, you just gotta gauge the passenger, haven't you? You just gotta gauge the passenger. But that's a true story, by the way. Hi, Byron. No looking at us again today. Byron, you got to understand, mate. I have got a screen of comments in front of me, right, that I've got to get through. And on TikTok, I've got this little bit of comments that fly. I just can't. If I could stream the stream onto TikTok using the software, I would do, Byron. But they don't let me do it. TikTok don't let me do it, mate. So you can listen in and stuff like that. But if I miss your comments, I do apologise. But if you come over to Twitch or YouTube, you can ask your comment there, mate. Do you know what I mean? I do apologise, mate. I just can't control the way the systems work, matey. It was a nutter she didn't want to pay. So is that the one who was starting on you and all that, yeah? And he just didn't want to pay? Heavy. Hi, Matty, how are we? Everyone else, good morning. Happy with anyone working? Hi, Curran, this morning, mate. You all right? Hopefully, mate. Hopefully, a few people have been working, earn some a bit of money in that. You can always tell a drug run as they pay you up front. Who else does that? Stand out a mile. Yeah, or what they do is they got multiple stops and they leave something with you. Do you know what I mean? Every time. And he'll get out the car. Yeah, here's my phone. Don't want your phone, mate. Yeah, but I'll be back. Honestly, don't worry about it. Here's my phone. Or here's my bag. Here's my trabs. Do you know what I mean? Just wait here for me. Do you know what I mean? And then, like, I had one in COVID, and it was like, I went to like 6 different houses. I went, bloody hell, mate. I mean, you must be doing a nice thing for your community. And he went, what do you mean, lad? I went, visiting all the sick people in COVID. Are you dropping them off some medicine, are you? Yeah, yeah, medicine. Honestly, all around Kirby, done it. Oh God, because you don't know what they're doing, do you? You can't prove it or nothing, so you just got to do where they say. As long as you don't see or witness anything, that's it. Sideways, the taste. I've never thought about it like that before, but so true. You nutter, Matty. It is though, mate. Honestly, as soon as you start tasting that, rough. I had one on locals nearly sick, Scott. The smelly and the tasty ones, mate, they're the worst. The problem is now. Oh, okay, this is a good one, Raf. So another problem now is cheap, snidey perfumes. After about 2 minutes, I start coughing my head off. So they proper like spraying like aftermarket Chinese perfumes, mate, and it just like stinks. And you can slap a perfume, I call it. Commute. I was running around like a blue ass fly this morning. My wife's Kia Nero needs a motor and gearbox. Any cheap cars for sale, lad? Has your Kia gone? Didn't you say what miles is your Kia Nero gone? The motor and the gearbox is now gone. Ah, heavy. On kick, Bella. Yes, you're right, lad. Last 3 years, I've never kicked any passengers from my car, but recently I've kicked three. Not anymore like years ago. That's it, mate. The passengers have changed. Do you know what I mean? They have. It's just grown. Uber's become like another local company now. Where back in the day, it was just tourism and students. Byron, yeah, mate. So the streams getting projected to Kick, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch all at once, and all the comments get pulled through on my screen. You see, I'd do the same for TikTok if they allowed me, mate, but they don't. So I've got my TikTok. I'll try and look over when I get a chance. But if not, just come over to Twitch, mate, if you've got an account, and just shoot and enjoying in then, mate. I had the worst three bagheads a couple of months ago from town to Kirby. I'll drive off now after that. Yeah. So did you see them walking to your car and you just thought, what am I getting into here? Yeah. Yeah. The bagheads made that. Listen, I know you're sounding right, but I've had bagheads and smackheads in my car over the years on the locals, and they have been like the most soundest, respectful people ever, in my opinion. Like I've never really had a problem with a baghead. I've had a problem with winos and drunks and stuff like that, but a baghead normally made the spot on, normally pay, normally don't have an issue with them. They're quite respectful. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if you can relate on that, but most bagheads I've had, mate, they seem pretty chill. School run done, sorting out wife's car today, no Uber for me. I'd enjoy, mate, enjoy. Sorry to hear about your missus's car, though. They wasn't having a go at me, just loud and rough as toast on the phone for bits for when they get back. Actually, just baiting your head out. Oh, great. BD, here, wave. Have you just come through on from TikTok? Are you Byron? If you are, hello BD from YouTube. Welcome, mate. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, lad. Good lad. Michael, yeah, I'm telling you, you'll bite my eyeballs out in there. Yeah. The guy that wouldn't pay you. So hold on a minute. Michael, you done a job. Was this on Uber or locals? So you picked someone up. They refused to pay. And then he was threatening to bite your eyeballs out in there. Was that Uber or local company, mate? Damn. If your gut feeling is to get away from there quick, get away. Great advice, Peter. I pulled up at loads of houses, mate. And as soon as it starts looking a bit sketchy, especially overnight, I just bail me. Just 100% just bail. It's not worth it, mate. Do you know what I mean? Especially if the fare's long one. It's a bit different if you're whizzing someone a minute round the corner and it's a quick fiver. Even if they're quite bad, it's not too bad. But if it's a good little run, like intercity, like Liverpool, like dropping someone off in Manchester. I picked up at Manchester once, going back to Liverpool in Uber a while back because I just dropped off there and I've got one back, like brilliant. And it was two lads and who were doing balloons and everything in the car. And in the end, I was going through and I was halfway back and I said to him, lad, I went, pack the balloons in, mate. And what are you doing? You're in a car, lad. Got flipping dash cam and all that. And the other lad was, oh, behave yourself, lad. And then the other lad was going, lad, pack it in. You know, that kind of defending me. But in the end, I pulled up halfway and I turned round. Do you know what I mean? I went, listen, lads. I went, if it doesn't pack in, I went, get out my car. I went, I'm being sound as anything. I went, but pack it in or get out my car. And he packed it in, like, or I would have threw them out. Do you know what I mean? It is. It's a rough. It can be a rough game. But also on the positive, though, you pick people up on the lovely and you share experiences and you have a lovely time on your journey. So there is swings and roundabouts to it, like, innit? So our Kia e-Niro has 133,000 miles on it. It's the motor that's gone with the grinding, and the gearbox is suspect. It's less labour to replace both motor and gearbox together, apparently. Okie dokie, commuter. So what's quite interesting, mate, me mate's in his Kia e-Niro. I'm pretty sure he's still on the original motor and the original gearbox, and he's hit 333,000 miles, which is mad, isn't it? To be honest. Oh, that's me, Byron. Hello, mate. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, kid. How we going over here to have the likes and follows? You seen a Waymo in Manchester? I don't know if I believe you, mate. Bobby, I'm on the Hackneys, close to going back to a 9 till 5. I've got a boss school run, and it's still bad. Really, Bobby, yeah? Sometimes, mate, you're just better off, aren't you? Yeah, smelly ones have a bad rating. Ben, you've hit the nail on the head, mate. So you don't accept anyone under 4.6 star. Has anyone got like a limit of how many stars they'll accept doing this job? Like if you've got like, oh, I won't accept X amount or whatever. I'd run Facebook smelly passengers that leave a foul smell in a car that the next passenger thinks it's you. Lad, how many times have you got someone in your car, right? And he's stunk of like weed or something like that, or like really bad smell. And then when you're dropping off, the next passenger is literally getting in. And you know what I mean? And he cross and he merge smells, don't they? So as she gets in your car, he's getting out. And he's still lingering. He's still lingering in your car, isn't he? And as you get in your car, they just look at you in disgust, don't they? Do you know what I mean? I know drivers that have had like weed claims and stuff reported on them because of that. People have like, oh, the driver stunk of weed and stuff like that, and got a red flag on his account and stuff like that. Got in trouble, and it was the previous customer. That is legit a really good comment, Edwin. Thank you for that, mate. But you are very true, aren't you? It's crazy. So below 4.5 is a no. 4.6, no. 4.2 minimum. Karum, that's quite low, 4.2. 4.6. If they're not there, drive away. You're in the 5, 6 minute waiting. Yeah, defo. Take on YouTube, hello mate. What's cheap for insurance company wise for Uber? There's actually no cheap insurance, mate. It's all very expensive. I just shop it around. So what I normally do with cheap insurance, I'd go to like Go Compare Taxi, or is it Go Compare, or do you have one? Compare the Market or whatever. But the taxi one. So they actually do a taxi version of Compare the Market. So that's what I do with that. And then to have to follow Marie. And then what I do then is I check the basics, your Zigo, your Insure, and like your Acorn. Your Acorn's good for your electric vehicles. Got an offer the job the other day, and the customer rating was 3.61. Ridiculous, mate. I posted on Facebook the other day, mate. and the rating was 1 point something. 1 point something. Honestly, like how has he not even been banned yet? Crazy. So this is over the Kia e-Niro commuter. The very early cars had a battery of motors that weren't not and revised the motor design. So you might have got one of those bad batches, mate. Because like I said, my mate in the e-Niro, who's done 333,000 miles, he's still on the original stuff. He's selling it. I'm half tempted to buy it for content because I've done a few reviews on it and I'm half tempted to buy it for content. I really am. 333,000 miles. Because people say electric cars aren't doable for like long distance, like for the future and stuff and longevity and all that. You're better off with a diesel. 333,000 miles and he's still on the original everything more or less. It's crazy. Marty, on our local base app, we don't have a rating, but they can prepay on the app. Generally, if they're prepaid, I'm happy to do the job. Yeah, that's just safe for you better, there, Martin, with the locals, because you can't get your runners and that with the prepaid stuff, can you? But obviously the cash and stuff you can. I just think the way the world's going, cash is just going to dwindle away, innit? Do you know what I mean? But I know a lot of people that still don't like account work and still like thrive in the cash world. But all that'll be gone soon when the tax makes digital. Soon as tax makes digital come in, mate, that's where all the cash work and all the skiving and everything will disappear, won't it? I'd be interested in to keep wife on the road. I'd sell it to you when we get ours fixed. Mate, honestly, I'm half tempted to get a high miles EV to see how it goes, mate. Like I said, my mate's selling his for 300, and he's got 333,000 miles. I've looked at a few Model 3s that are high 200,000 miles. So I'm half tempted to risk a high mile car for content and then report like battery health and you know what I mean? Like everything about it. I think it'd be dead useful and dead insightful. Because I think the biggest, scariest part of owning an electric vehicle is that in it. I think it's that. What you reckon? Is the batteries and the electric motors. So I'm half tempted. I am half tempted. Pulling away from the cabs, pulling away from the private hire, I think. Do you know what I mean? I haven't done much of it at all. It's been quiet in the airports anyway, so I haven't done much of it at all. And I'm half tempted to pull away from it now. The way it's going, the way it's gone. And focus on the content. I'm running the airport company. I think that's what I'm going to be doing in the future, I think. So what do you reckon, guys? Do you reckon this has worked, this stream? We've had Monday stream 10 till 12. Today's stream 10 till 12. And then Friday stream 10 till 12. I think it's working. What do you reckon? Yeah, I'll see if I can get that rating job up for you. Let's have a look. Let's see if I can find this job for you. I might have deleted it though. What will it be on my Facebook? Is it on my Facebook? Oh yeah. Look at the rating. That's got to be the lowest rating I've ever seen. Terrifying, that, isn't it? On my third electric car now, never had a fault yet. Never changed the brake pads yet. That is a great thing, mate. I had the Tesla Model S for 80,000 miles and never changed the brake pads. Mental, mate, honestly, Phil. Mental. So what electric car? Why have you had three electric cars then? Hi, mate. Uber has been approved in Scunthorpe, which is part of Hull. Has it? Oh dear. Do I have to get a Hull City Council license? I'm not too sure that side of the country, mate. I'm not too sure. Lee on Facebook, it's spot on, mate. Plenty of useful info, tips about the trade. Thanks, Lee. Much appreciated. As it starts growing, guys, I want to start getting more people on it. I'm going to start getting content creators on it, me accountants on it. I'm going to be bringing a lot more things here in the live stream. That's why I'm always asking you to get over to Twitch if you can or YouTube because you got the big screen then with your big chat. Do you know what I mean? And on the full screen, you just get a better view of everything. And when I get a second guest on, let me show you the difference. So on Facebook, on Facebook, it's very small at the top, isn't it? You got a small chat box and two screens. On the PC, on Twitch and YouTube and Kick, you have a massive screen, a massive chat box where you can read the chat, and also you can see the camera clearer on the second screen on the camera as well. So that's why I'm going to be pushing towards it. But I want to make sure the stream's built up a bit before I start getting anyone on. Because I don't want to get anyone on and then it's just like a bit slow or we're not talking and stuff like that. So I'm going to wait for a bit and then get a few people on. It'd be interesting to see other people's opinion of the trade, vehicles, what they're driving, etc., etc. Because I'd love to delve into Denny's mind of how much he loves the Dacia Duster. Imagine that. But yeah, it's just stuff like that's going to be getting on in the future. Might get the London boy on, Lee, if he wants to jump on. Stuff like that. That's in a few weeks, that. Electric Nero EV did 100,000 miles. The Ionic 5 did 75,000 miles. The Ionic 5, mate, is brilliant. So why did you get rid of the Ionic 5 then? Currently on the Ionic 6 for 22. You swapped the 5 for the 6, Phil. Why did you swap the 5 for the 6? Didn't you need the boot space? The Ionic 6 is lovely, like. I'm guessing you settle by an eye from Car and Cab. I'm assuming for those three cars. Yeah, thought you was. Yeah, so you settled by him from Sean I, yeah. The Ionic 6, mate, is flipping a lovely car. Lovely car. But the Ionic 5, mate, bloody hell, the Ionic 5 is huge, isn't it? So you've only traded them in, have you? Because you've got really good deals on it, have you? Is that why? It's clever, though, isn't it? Because more you change your car, obviously, more warranty you've got and everything else, isn't it? Yeah, you made the right choice, mate. Sles on YouTube, hello, mate. I had a quote for a year insurance for 1,800 quid, but 1,500 quid if I pay in full. That's really good. That's really good, mate. That's the second year in my own car, been on the taxis 3 years. Mate, that's very good. I've been on the cabs, mate, for years, and I was paying 2,400 quid on the Tesla Model S. I was paying 2,400 quid for the Tesla Model S. Thank you very much. See, I got a coffee. Nice, very nice. It's nice when the wife's off work, isn't it? What have you been up to much, mate? No, mate. So, Luke, at the moment, mate, trying to push the social media, trying to push the Twitch, trying to push the live stream. I'm live streaming out 3 times a week, and I'm trying to build it up now. I'm just trying to get it more popular. People coming on, talking about the trade, talking about driverless taxis, talking about vehicles, general chit chat, really. Hanging out somewhere to chill while you're waiting for your next job. That's the plan with the live stream, mate. And that's what I'm trying to build on at the moment. Because I've got big followers on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, and all that. But Twitch, I'm brand new to. So more Twitch followers and likes, the better. Not in an EV, but I bought a dirt cheap Fiat Ducato 2.3 JTD a few years ago. It was an ex-Gatwick transfer taxi. Was on 300k, but make it to 550k before the engine blew. You bought a car with 300k on, and it went to 550 before the engine blew. EVs are easily capable of the same miles, if not more. Mate, what is this car? Fiat Ducato. Fiat Ducato. A mini, mate. You bought a minibus with 300,000 miles on the clock, and the engine blew at 550,000. Mate, that is unbelievable. So did you get rid of it once the engine blew, or what? Mate, that's brilliant, that. Oh my God, that shocked me, that. Did you see the vehicle interruption cover message from Uber? Cost 1p per on-trip mile from each trip for cover, and you receive a payment based on your driver tier if the car is off the road for 24 hours. No, but they have offered that type of stuff in the past. They have offered that type of stuff in the past with like on trip on payment stuff. But yeah, that's the first time I've heard that one, mate. Hello, Pop on YouTube. Thanks for joining, matey. It's in I can never say that word. Inevitable. It's inevitable that driverless cars will replace taxi drivers since they are a cost. Yes, but it's when is the question. Not if, but when. I reckon 20 years plus, mate. 30 years before it starts taking people's jobs at a high level. I do, personally. I'm paying just over 1,200 quid on a Skoda Superb, and I paid around the same for the last 6, 7 years. That's probably the cheapest you're going to get in it. But 1,200 quid, 1,200 quid is really good, mate. Honestly. I love the Skoda Superb. It's one of my favourite cars of all time. One of my favourite cars of all time now. 10 years. Pop, do you reckon it's going to be 10 years? Yeah, Pop, I think you've just jumped into the stream, mate. Let me just speak for some stuff that's just happened recently. So Uber is partnered with Lucid. They're bringing driverless cars this year in America, right? And they've got a goal, yeah, of owning 20,000 driverless cars for Uber by 6 years. 6 years, only 20,000 in America. You really think in 10 years' time we're going to have enough driverless cars here to replace or to affect our job? I don't know, mate, I don't know. I don't think 10 years to affect your job. I mean, as an, oh crap, I'm going to have to leave my job and get a new one. These driverless taxis are taking all my customers. That level of driverless taxis in the UK, 20, 30 years, gotta be at least 15. I can't see it being in 10. It's after likes and follows, guys. By the way, guys, if you hit the like button on whatever you're watching me on, it helps massively. If you just hit the thumb, do you know what I mean? It does help. But yeah, I can't see it being 10. But we don't know, do we? Them Ducatos at the 2.3 Iveco, brilliant. So it's the engine that makes them dead good. Is the engine dead good, is it? Honest to God, mate, I've never even seen them. There's not many of them in Liverpool. Most minibuses in Liverpool is your Vitos, your V classes, your Ford Toneos, the Hyundai Ioniq, the Hyundai i800s, your Renault Trafics. They're your main minibuses in Liverpool. That's the first time I've really seen or heard of the Fiat Ducato. Mental, mental. Marty on Twitch, back on the on-trip cover. Does it pay out? Dot dot dot. But if a faff, but it paid out when I killed the Ford. It did pay out, Martin, when the Ford died. So Martin had a Ford Tornado Transit, the little smaller ones, not the big ones. And his Ford died, the engine died. So it'd be good to find out, Martin. Sorry if you write that a bit better. Did Uber pay out for the on-trip cover when your Ford engine failed? And also, how much did they pay out, Martin, please, mate? Renus on Facebook, hello, mate. Diamond drivers getting that vehicle interruption insurance free of charge. Mate, how hard is it to get Diamond, though? I have not seen Diamond in the 8 years I've worked for Uber. At best, I think I got gold. How are you hitting diamond these days is mental. Pop, make sure you're subscribed to me, mate. In 10 years, I want an apology from you if they haven't replaced your job, but I'll apologise to you if they have. All right? Put that in your diary. 10 years, come and see me. And we'll find out who was right. More than 10 years, I'm right. Less than 10 years, you're right. Fair? Hit that subscribe button. Oh, mate, that's amazing, that story, that Fiat. It was a no-brainer. 650 quid. You paid 650 for it with 300 and odd thousand miles. Now it's in my yard, full of spares for my fleet. Like you say, buy cheap. We're able, made some great cash on an ex-police Hyundai i30 1.6 CDR estate at 2 grand a go. Mate, that's where the dough is. That's where the dough is, mate. On the cheap cars or the cheap running cars. That's where the magic's at. It's my third, I can't fault it. Wow. Let them come, we'll still be number one on rank on one an app, no difference. You could build an engine that lasts forever, but manufacturers won't do that. Probably, mate, yeah. Every camper is a Ducato, same as a Citroen van. Oh, okay. Is that what I've seen them? It's my third Superb. Oh, can't fault them for money. I'm buzzing that in 3 years I'll be able to buy a 3-year-old diesel Superb. I'm not ready for an EV yet. The Superbs, I've had two. I had a brown one called the Big Turd because it was brown on the outside and brown on the inside. It was disgusting to look at, but it was amazing. It was a Lauren and Clement. I think I said it right, and it was one of my favourite cars on the cabs. It was boss, mate. The boot opened as a saloon or a hatchback, depending on what you wanted to load in. And it was unreal. But yeah, the Big Turd, mate. Ended up selling it. And then in a few years later, I got the plug-in hybrid Skoda Superb Estate Black. Lovely car. And that was my transition onto electric. I got the plug-in hybrid Skoda, loved the plug-in side of it, and that got me onto full electric. Lovely cars. The Superbs are brilliant. If they brought out a Skoda Superb full electric, I'll be all over it, mate. I'm pretty sure they brought one out this year, or they're due to bring one out. Dream car, mate. I love the Skoda Superbs. Fantastic. I'm 6'5", mate. Not many people fit behind me. That's why I've got the 7 Series at the moment. And the Superb is just unreal. See, the council has scrapped the proposed bus lane on Longmore Lane in Fazach. Good news. Yeah, it was never going to happen, mate. Never going to happen. And private eye and a taxis can drive in them anyway. But I have Zigo Sense cover. So is that with the app, is it? So is the app Zigo Sense app? Yeah, mate. I done a sponsored video for them years ago, and I tested the Zigo Sense app, and I thought it was brilliant. I don't think it was dead strict way like you're paranoid when you're driving, but it saved me money each month. It was brilliant. The Zigo Sense app. But Zigo might be more expensive for other people, depending on the car and the scenario. Do you know what I mean? Matty, me and Pablo are both diamond. Raf, are you diamond? Are you diamond, Raf? Yeah. Come on, lads. The question will be time involved in the passenger fare with autonomous cars. We know right now for us drivers, Uber's fares are calculated by time. So, right, so Uber's fares are calculated by time, but guys, our expenses are per mile. So I know a lot of Uber drivers keep saying this, look at the time, look at the time. That is a good point. It's priced per time, but your expenses is priced per mile. So sometimes you've got to look at both. If you're driving a big dirty diesel, mate, on Uber now, and what are you getting a pound a mile? And what's a diesel? 20, 30p a mile. I'm on about all expenses. That's a lot of your profit, mate. Didn't it? In 10 years, Driver Matty will be in Spain showing villas. In 10 years, Matty will be a millionaire taxi driving. Mate, I don't think I'll be taxi driving next month. Never mind in 10 years. Oh, God. But listen, I'll always try and be here for you, even if I am stinking rich. But for now, mate, I'm like anyone just scraping by. If you think, if you see my face on social media and you think, God, that guy's rich, you got another thing coming, lad. You know what I mean? I've literally reaching the point now with my airport company and the content, I can pull away from the cabs. But without my airport company, I'd still have to be full-time cabs with the content. It just doesn't pay enough. Honestly, it's crazy. But I enjoy doing it. I enjoy the fact that I can get all the community together and stuff like that, which is just brilliant. Do you know what I mean? So I enjoy the content. And it's like the content, I'll say, is like a full-time job with part-time income, but you'd enjoy that part-time job, if you get me. And then the taxis was my full-time job, but I didn't really enjoy after the years of doing it. So now I run the airport company, as in I run the company, I don't drive the company, and I do the content. But still, trust me, guys, nowhere near a villain in Spain. Maybe a caravan in Blackpool. Yeah, maybe a caravan in Blackpool, mate. I'll take that. But I have to rent the caravan now. Couldn't buy one. I say, mate, if I'm honest, I prefer the comfort of the Mark II. So Kelly, the Mark II, is that the one where the boot splits into a saloon and a hatchback? I can't remember what year it was. I think mine was like a year 2010 maybe or 2012. Diamond is easy for eight-seaters who work peak hours. Is it really? Yeah. Fair play. Karoom, I never had that above 250 a month. That's good. Pop Squad, you will have to change your name from Driver Matty to former Driver Matty. Listen, Pop, I was actually going to change it to not Driver Matty. But to be honest, guys, I still drive personally. So technically, I'm still a driver. And to be honest, guys, my whole brand is around Driver Matty, so nothing's getting changed. Even if I'm not physically driving the taxis. DM News is Driver Matty News. DM Airport Transfers is Driver Matty DM Airport Transfers. And all the content as well and the stuff I do. Um, so yeah. And even though, to be honest, even though I'm not physically driving, my content is about driving. My content is about supplying news to the trade. Anything that can help or benefit you, I try and share on content. People ask me a question here, I try and answer it and then put it out as a video to help others who need that answer. Do you know what I mean? Up to 2015 was the Mark II. So the big turd, which I called the brown Skoda Superb with the brown interior, the Lon Clement, that was a Mark II then. Loved it. What a car. Like sitting in my nan's couch. Honestly, it was unbelievable. Not for much longer, you'll have an automated car. Mate, that's my plan. If the Cybercabs comes over to the UK, I'll buy the Cybercab and let it work for me. Don't you only got to be about 30 grand, mate? It'll be sound, that. Get financed up on one. Driver Matty sits on his ass all day. Liam, I will drive to Runcorn, mate, and throw you off the bridge. But I do sit on my ass all day because I've got to do the content, lad, haven't I? And also, by the way, funny, aren't you? When you're a taxi driver, you sit on your ass all day anyway. Do you know what I mean? I'm only messing. Time for tuning in, Liam. How's Warrington on Uber? Is it busy? Eh, no, I don't think so. You have to go and find out yourself, but I don't think so, mate. You're welcome, Rev. Signed on to 4 taxi firms in the last hour. Now I've got my plate. You've signed on to 4 taxi firms in the last hour? Why 4? Uber is crap. V's you to the rescue. Interesting. Interesting. A lot of people are going to Vizu. Liam's put dead in Warrington, Uber, go to Liverpool, loads of work. Is that true, Liam? Is that true? You're looking after the members, aren't you? What a legend. Us members look after each other. By the way, if you want to become a YouTube member and you come in the WhatsApp group, um, give us a shout. I think if you watch me on YouTube right now, you'll be able to access the button or the link to join the membership. And then if you come in, I'll add you into the WhatsApp group after the stream. And you can deal with some of the melts that I deal with. I wish Delta did prepay for customers. I know, mate. Delta's really stuck in their way, ain't it? Trucker, Bolt, Skyline, Take Me, and Falcon. Why 4 apps? I just don't get it, mate. Why 4 apps? Surely Bolt will be enough, won't it? You have like 4 phones on your car. Mental, you've been setting up to 4 companies. That's crazy. Driver Matty, ambassador for all taxi drivers. Yes, lad. That is going to be my new title, Ambassador Matty. I'll take it. I'll take it. Listen, guys, finishing up soon, mate. It's coming up to 10 to 12, and my belly is rumbling. But first, I want to know why Trucker is signing up to 4 firms. Grab an Asian needs to come to the UK. Why would you want to grab an Asian, Kitty? Grab an Asian. Grab an Asian needs to come to the UK. Kitty, can you please explain? Because that sounds awful. Why would you like to grab an Asian? Doing taxis in his truck wherever he ends up. Probably, mate. Kitty, can you tell me why you want to grab an Asian? Do you reckon you could put a Hyundai Ioniq 5 cab on Uber? Yeah, mate. Very popular car up in the Northwest. No, grab like Uber, but it's more if the fare is low, drivers can adjust it fairly. Oh, grab in Asia. Grab an Asian. Because you put grab an Asian. Oh, mate. Sorry, Asians. She didn't want to grab you. It was grab, which is in Asia. She wants to come to the UK because it seems more fairer for the driver. Kitty, thank you for elaborating because that sounded awful. Um, but yeah, so grab sounds like Uber, Bolt Flex. So Bolt in the UK with Flex, if you get a job through for like 20 quid, you can ping the job back and say 22. And if the passenger accepts it, you get that job for 22. So that seems similar then, doesn't it? Grab seems similar, doesn't it? Grab is in Bolt. Ah, right, that makes more sense then. Truck and Norby, it's Rob off the WhatsApp group. What are you doing, lad? Why are why are you on TikTok? I thought you were on YouTube. Are you back on TikTok? So Rob added my WhatsApp group. Right, so you just got your badge, which is great. Lad, we need a talk, lad, about signing up to 4 companies. You're a flipping madman. We'll talk after the stream, lad. That's crazy, that, honestly. You understand double happen, lad. But quadruple happen is mental. Yeah, I didn't know it was there. I didn't know it was Rob, lad. I didn't know your name was Trucker Thingy. He's going to need 4 devices. He's going to need flipping brain surgery after trying to take all that information in while driving. More phones than an EE. It is funny. Like myself personally, mate, if you got a local company with a capped commission, I wouldn't even double up. I'd smash that company, hit the cap commission, and then keep working and earning that dough. That's what I'd do. Do you know what I mean? Pointless double upping local companies when they both got cap commissions because you're not going to hit the cap. You're just going to work all these companies, pay that high commission because you're not hitting any caps. Mental. Mental. I was thinking of going back to local, but I'm put off by the knobs running them. We have got Take Me, but they are crap. So, Sles, where do you live? I've heard that take Me come up quite a bit. Too many drivers in Oldham. Teddy, did you see the news article on DM News, lad? Some fella sent me a video of it, and he was working in a little village near Oldham, but he was nosely plated. So he's a nosy plated driver who lives in Oldham but was working in a village nearby. And some fella come up to him and went, "Don't be working around here on Uber. You're nosely. You should be in Liverpool." What the fella didn't know is he wasn't even from Liverpool. He lived in Manchester. So he was nosely plated, lived in Manchester, but was working in a village outside of Manchester. Worked that one out. So some fella come up to him, like, "Get out of flipping my village," and all that. Quite interesting. The video is on DM News. Go check it out. Yeah, so it was outside. It wasn't Oldham, the village. It was something else. Upper Mill. So he was working in Upper Mill, all at Upper Mill. So he lived in Oldham. He was working in Upper Mill, but the fella seen that he was a nosely Uber driver, and he weren't happy with it, so he went over and started kicking off at him. Oh, it is in Oldham. Oh, that makes more sense then, doesn't it? I don't think the driverless taxis will be a fully thing. Too many variables that are out of the government's control. Things like accidents, insurance, public confidence. Mate, you are 100%. Driverless taxis have too much infrastructure to beat in the UK. Too many tough scenarios to beat in the UK. I just can't see it being like massively mainstream. Like if you drive to the city centre and you look at the cars on the street, like every other car or every like third car is an Uber car in it or a private hire or a taxi. I cannot imagine in 10 years' time driving to Liverpool city centre and seeing every other car as a driverless taxi. I just can't see it. Maybe one or two. Do you know what I mean? It's just not going to be that mainstream, guys. But listen, I'm coming up to my dinner and I'm starving. If you haven't already, follow me on Twitch. Give me a little like and follow on whatever you're watching me on now. And yeah, come and subscribe on YouTube if you want. And yeah, thanks very much for tuning in once again. I will be back Friday, 10 a.m. So make sure you flip and put it in your diary and come join us Friday, 10 a.m. guys. All right. Nice one for the follows. Much appreciated. After likes. See you all Friday, okay? Appreciated. And now. Right, that is ended. Thank you very much for tuning in, guys. Much appreciated. You know the score. His little like and follow and all that jazz.